Tirza Derflinger joining us. She's the founder of the Thermogram Center, thermogramcenter.com, and also the lead author of Better Breast Health for Life. You can find that book at betterbreasthealthforlife.com. Tirza, thanks for joining us. So to start, what is thermography?
Thermography is a way of obtaining a map, a measure of the heat emissions from the body inside out to the skin surface. So our breasts, our organs, our T-sockets, when there's dysfunction in those, they're going to create abnormal heat patterns or excess or a lack of heat. So we're creating a map of the thermal emissions and comparing those to what's normal.
What is thermography commonly used to diagnose?
Most commonly, it's used for breasts. When women are trying to find a safe, sensitive, intelligent way of checking their breasts without having to worry with the risk of radiation and compression, false positives and false negatives.
We're talking with Tirza Derflinger. She's the founder of the Thermogram Center and the lead author of Better Breast Health for Life. You can find her online, thermogramcenter.com, betterbreasthealthforlife.com. Is thermography effective in finding breast cancer in women?
I believe it's very effective in enabling and supporting earlier detection, yes, and safely. So the thermal imaging can't cause cancer. It's not a radiation-based procedure. There's no compression, no touch, so we can't rupture anything, whether it's an implant or an encapsulated cancer. And we're finding that when women have the thermal imaging where they're getting the risk assessment, each breast is assigned a number from 1 to 5. It's their thermobiological risk rating. The higher their number, the more risk for cancer they have. Some of those numbers are going to prompt further evaluation and ultrasound. So many informed women know that here in Colorado they can do thermal imaging and, if warranted, get an ultrasound. Together, I believe that more than 90% of breast cancers are being detected. We know mammograms, for instance, can miss 20 to 75% of all breast cancers, depending on the density of the breast. So density doesn't matter when it comes to thermal imaging. And so, yes, I think the thermal imaging is an awesome way for women to safely, sensitively, and intelligently monitor their risk for developing cancer and react accordingly. If someone's at low risk, that means that they're managing their diet, their nutrition, their body's ability to detox, and the risk factors that contribute to breast cancer well. But if their numbers are high, that suggests there's room for improvement. So we know there are 37 risk factors that contribute to the development of breast cancer. We try to educate our clients on what are those risk factors so they're aware of them and can manage them and reduce their risk over time. That's our goal.
And if you had to compare thermography and mammography, do you think that one is better than the other?
Oh, absolutely. There's so much evidence that's just coming out now at a national level. Part of why the American Cancer Society just this week said, please consider not doing a mammogram until age 50 is because there are so many false positives with mammograms, so many unnecessary procedures, lumpectomies, and mastectomies. So with the mammography can lead to unnecessary breast biopsies, as 80 to 95% of breast biopsies turn out to be benign. In addition, up to 25% of breast cancers diagnosed following mammography are stage 0. Everybody has stage 0 cancers in their bodies every day, but they recommend typically lumpectomy, and some women are choosing mastectomy or bilateral mastectomy to be on the safe side, but it was only stage 0, but they didn't understand that. They heard the word cancer and they got afraid. So with thermal imaging, we don't have that. We don't have the false positives. We're not going to have as high a false negative rate either. And again, it's safe, it's sensitive, and it's informative. When we go for a mammogram, it's kind of a fearful event. We're not taught anything. We go into a room, we spend 10 minutes, we're in and out of there. They give us a report a week later, tells us whether or not they think we have cancer, and they tell us, come back in a year, we'll see if you have cancer then. But with our procedure, because it's bundled with preventive education, we're trying to educate all of our clients, men and women, to learn, where do I have areas of opportunity to improve my body's functioning? Do you see any sources of inflammation or dysfunction? Tell me about them now, early enough, so I can intervene, reverse them, and prevent cancer down the road, whether it's prostate, breast, or otherwise. So it not only helps to support early detection for cancer and two-socket infections and other things, but it enables us to find the early warning signs so we can act now and prevent cancers later.
Tirza Derflinger joining us. She's the founder of the Thermogram Center and the lead author of Better Breast Health for Life. So you just mentioned the idea of the preventative measures. Now, is that something that's specific to your practice? That doesn't necessarily accompany every thermographic every clinic or organization that would offer thermography. Is that correct?
That's correct, Paul. I'm glad you asked because I do want consumers to be discerning and make informed decisions. Basic thermography is like the mammography test. You show up, you have a test, they send you a report later.
Yeah.
It's not going to be accompanied by, for instance, we have an hour-and-a-half-long video we offer for our first-time women clients doing the breast, abdomen, back, and face series to explain terminology and what things look like on images. And when they show up for their first appointment, it's typically an hour and a half. The first half hour is just the procedure. But in the last hour, we're looking together at the images. We're talking about what's connected to what could be causing what, and what action steps can be taken to bring about improvement, and that's how it supports prevention, and we back it up. Not just with the thermobiological risk ratings and the hormonal grades, which basic thermography doesn't provide, but also self-care and preventive education handouts, particularly around gut health, where life and death starts. You know the saying, we are what we eat and don't eliminate. We want to help our clients to have better nourishment and ability to detoxify the body, to support the immune system, which is our body's best defense against cancer. In addition, we offer a dental care handout with little tidbits and things that many of us don't know on how to take better care of our teeth and gums. So everything's designed to support prevention through education, and that's not something you don't get with basic thermography. We're the only risk-assessing thermal imager in Colorado.
Thermography is new to me, and I think it's new to a lot of people. However, I have spoken with some folks who wanted to have thermography done in place of mammography, and it doesn't seem to be covered by insurance. I called my insurance company. They do not cover it. Why isn't this being offered?
Well, two things. First of all, our CPT codes do not fall under basic thermography. Our CPT codes are under preventive care. So insurance, that what you've heard about insurance could be different with us.
Oh, okay.
Also,
So you're saying your codes, the stuff, if people come to visit your place, the Thermogram Center, it could be covered by insurance, or it's something that we should check into again?
Right. We provide our clients with an insurance reimbursement handout to ask their insurance companies the right questions and provide the right codes. And also health sharing rather than health insurance, of course, our clients can get reimbursed 100%. And, of course, the HSAs, FSAs, cafeteria plans, medical savings and trusts, those cover 100%. But to answer your other question about why isn't it covered by insurance, as you know, our standard of care system is more about sick care and less about true health care, more about providing for the health of the bottom line. So we know it's a capitalistic industry. There's trillions of dollars being made by pharmaceutical companies and mammography and whatnot. And this is why I think it's so important for consumers to be informed and seek those tests that serve their highest good. There are 9 different tests for women's breasts. I talk to women, most of them can think of 2 or 3. They didn't know there were 9. So it's incumbent upon each consumer to be informed and choose the tests that serve their highest good and not somebody else's highest good or bottom line. Mammograms have inherent risk. Thermograms do not.
Do you think that the inherent risk of mammograms, I mean, can you put it on a scale? Is it extremely risky, medium, low risk? Is that something you could speak to?
Yes, Paul, it's not the immediate risk. Each mammographic series that you have, like that's going to cause cancer. No. We know from long-term research, each mammographic series we have can increase our risk by up to 1 or 2%, and it's accumulative over time. And diagnostic mammography and 3D mammography actually has more radiation per series. So if a woman has had 15 years of mammography where they only had 1 mammographic series per year, her risk of developing breast cancer sometime down the road has increased between 15 and 30%. Mm-hmm. Now, other things that she does to manage risk factors can certainly overcompensate for the radiation risk that she's incurred, which is why we think it's so important that more people understand what are all the risk factors, which of them are in my life, I'm going to work on those, and then with our thermal imaging, we look for key risk factors in the body, like systemic lymphatic inflammation, excess estrogen stimulation, or lymphatic congestion. We try to help women and men to understand what risk factors might be present in their body, to have them kind of hone in and focus on those as well. So does that help with your question?
It absolutely does. Okay. And last thing, I know you have a lot to do today. I just wanted to get into Better Breast Health for Life, the book, and the fact that you've talked a couple of times about prevention, because we're doing this big breast cancer awareness push for the radio station, and we want to put accurate information out there, so we don't extend too far. We want to stay within the safe realm, right? So we say, get checked, get support, get involved. Those are the three things we're talking about. But nobody that I see, the NFL has pink jerseys. We're pink all over the place. Every big organization is going pink, but nobody says the word prevention. Nobody says, it's almost like with the attitude about breast cancer is sit, wait, and hope that you don't get it.
That's a good point, and it goes back to what I was saying about how detecting cancer does not serve our highest good. Preventing cancer does. Yeah. So we have to seek true health care if we want to have our highest good provided for. Otherwise, to your point, standard of care says, well, just come in for your test. When you have cancer, we'll take care of that for you. Right. And unfortunately, so many generations of women have been pink-washed. They believe that, gosh, if I don't do my mammogram, I might die. And if you don't do your mammogram, you might die. It seems from my experience over the last 14 years that about 90% of our nation's population of women believe that. Only about 10% of us are informed and kind of on the other side of the spectrum to say, look, I might die if I do the mammogram. I think it's very important and incumbent upon me to take responsibility to learn the causes of cancer, what are the risk factors, and do the best job I can to manage them, realizing it puts me in a better position to prevent it. But in spite of our best efforts, we can still get cancer. But for those of us who want to try to take responsibility and do the best we can, it at least gives us an extra level of comfort we can't get with mammograms alone, because they don't teach us anything about how to care for ourselves. To your point, it's sit, wait till you get it, we'll take care of it when you do. And then treatment isn't about working on the underlying causes that contributed to the cancer. It's simply dealing with the physical manifestation of the cancer. It's not a cure. To be cured, we have to deal with both the physical manifestation and the underlying causes. So we help our clients also to get with the right resources when they have been diagnosed with cancer to find out what the underlying causes are. So regardless of how they choose to treat their cancer, they're also going to be able to work on those underlying causes so they don't get the reoccurrence.
Tirza Derflinger joining us from Thermogram Center, thermogramcenter.com. Her book, the lead author of BetterBreastHealthForLife.com. Tirza, I now want to send my wife to see you, but if somebody is listening and they're interested in getting the ball rolling, you mentioned that there are ways that they could have it covered by flex spending or insurance or some form. How do we get started with you?
I encourage folks to either call 303-664-1139 or first get more informed. Go to our website, thermogramcenter.com. There are 4 locations to choose from along the Front Range and lots of wonderful information there at the website.
Tirza, thank you so much for this today.
Thank you very much, Paul.